Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin is at one of the most oversold levels in history, but that does not mean the bottom is in. Some analysts believe we're entering the true capitulation phase of the bear market, the moment when even long-term holders finally start selling. And if history repeats, the real Bitcoin bottom might only come after one final brutal drop. But there's also signs that the smart money reload zone may already be forming. You definitely want to know. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, Bitcoin is historically oversold, never been this low, and we are at levels that have triggered capitulation before the absolute bottoms. Yet, some analysts believe there is still a lot further down to go. Before we get into it, like the video, join us on Twitter through Crypto Love, and of course, subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel, making videos longer than practically everybody else. Now let's get started today because we've got a lot of very interesting charts. So this shouldn't be news for anyone. For the past week or so, Bitcoin has been at one of the most oversold levels in history. As you can see here, this is the relative strength index. It has never been this low in Bitcoin's history. Based on reversion to mean alone, price should go up, but there's evidence to why it may not. First, reasons why it should go up. Well, this is not a model, and this is from Timothy Peterson, just a picture of history. This is what happened when Bitcoin's price over time plotted out on a graph. Every time Bitcoin hit the threshold where it is right now, it was a capitulation point. You can see this time and time again. This marked the absolute bottom for Bitcoin every time since 2010. It's not a power law, it's Metcalfe's law. The time scale is root time, not log time. And you can get the paper if you want to see. But historically, this is the moment when we see price turning around. It has been the capitulation point every time. But yet, there are other narratives saying, hey, there's still further down to go. A lot of people are going to be surprised just how bad the bear market can get. There were lots of bottom calls in November last year, and they're starting to spring up again. The further the price declines, the more convincing they will be. Now, the chandelier phases are in the early development of the bear market phase 3, whereas phase 4, the bear market end, marks the cycle bottom with precise touch of the cycle bottom retest zone. The big lessons learned from watching bear markets and making great buys are: 1, don't be too eager to jump in, let the process play out, and 2, the right time to buy feels like the wrong time. And I got to agree with CryptoCon on this one. Historical bear market bottoms felt absolutely terrible. Nobody wanted to touch Bitcoin with a stick. I don't think we've gotten to that territory yet. We could go down lower. Hopefully this is the bottom. But, you know, the last few times, everybody was just like, ugh. And this time people are like, whatever. So I don't think we're there yet based on sentiment alone, but we'll kind of have to see, because right now Bitcoin is entering the bottom zone band. This is the historical bottom zone. If the Middle East tensions escalate further, Bitcoin could revisit the historical bottom zone band. So we are right on those levels. And if we plot this out, the macro channel for Bitcoin that it has respected for years, if you zoom out, you can see a very clear structure appearing. Bitcoin has been moving inside the same long-term growth channel for 9 years. The major cycle turning points keep aligning it with it. We had the cycle top in 2017, the bottom in 2019, and the COVID crash in 2020. We had the cycle top in 2021, the cycle bottom in 2022, and then the midline topped in 2025, which is similar with this 2019 peak here. Could this be the cycle bottom in 2026? I would certainly hope so. But again, it's a little bit too early to say. Worthwhile to let it play out and see what's going to happen. Because if we take a look here, the lack of Bitcoin realized losses by long-term holders now versus the last bear market is very telling. This was the 2022-2023 bear market. You can see these very sharp spikes of capitulation from long-term holders. We are not seeing that yet this time. Now, maybe we don't see that. A lot of things haven't lined up this cycle. We didn't have a pi cycle top. We didn't have other things happen. So maybe we won't have these crazy long-term holder capitulation events like we had last time. But again, still too early to say definitively. And this right here could suggest further losses for Bitcoin. We are, in terms of overall percent capitulation, almost there. You can see they do get greater in the beginning, lesser towards the end, but we have 93 to 71% drawdowns here. Well, we're right now at 52%. Maybe another 20% from here. That would put price at, I don't know, roughly like 50-some thousand, 45,000-ish if we had that drawdown from where we are right now. But here are the accumulation areas based on this expanding megaphone Bitcoin price. Many have asked what levels consider buying Bitcoin during this bear market. The reload zone is typically where smart money starts accumulating or adding to their positions. Right now, the smart money zone, the key accumulation areas, lie between $58,000 and $39,000. Coincidentally, $45,000, which I've been calling forever, is right in that targeted zone. Could we go all the way down there? It's possible, and usually when it happens, it feels terrible. Nobody wants to buy at that level. Everybody's concerned that it's going down to zero. And so, that leaves us with a few very interesting charts for the people who made it this far in the video, because we saw the terrible stuff before, and then now I get to leave you with a happy ending. So, phenomenal chart on Bitcoin. The 1-month RSI has hit the same level as during previous bear markets. You can see this here in red, the 1-month RSI down in these bottoming levels. Now, during 2018 and 2022, we also hit these levels. On the other hand, copper and gold has been in the longest bear market since the existence of Bitcoin. Copper versus gold, excuse me. So you can see this here has just been declining ever since then. You can see the trend line right here. That could be about to reverse, and that would strengthen the business cycle and could lead to a slow upward year for Bitcoin. The bottom is closer than we think. We can see that each time copper versus gold increases, so does Bitcoin. Gold has been on a very strong tear recently. Maybe things could be about to turn around. If that does happen, we could see a turnaround for Bitcoin. We're also seeing some green here on the Fed balance sheet. You can see the Fed balance sheet versus Bitcoin. When it's in green, Bitcoin price goes up dramatically. When it's in red, not so much. So you definitely want to keep an eye on, pay attention to the green on the balance sheet. It could be starting once again to tick back up. And I think this chart could be one of the most telling for where Bitcoin could be headed. Bitcoin only goes parabolic after oil has bottomed. This is oil up here in yellow. We can see that oil bottoms and then goes up. We can see these Bitcoin chart highlighted the same area. When oil goes up, Bitcoin goes up as well. Take a look at this. Oil has been going down since 2021. We just have a sharp uptick in oil. Turns out that black gold and digital gold are more closely aligned than you think. Serious macro investors already know this. Now you do too. We could have a serious uptick in Bitcoin if it is to follow black gold, which brings us to the last point. We mentioned earlier, don't jump in too early, but one of the best strategies for jumping in throughout all of time is just dollar cost averaging, saving Bitcoin over time. This is if you save 10% of every 2-week paycheck since a specific year. If you did it since, let's say, 2024, you would already have 0.3 Bitcoin. And this is based on the median US family income. If you did it since 2021, you would already have one entire Bitcoin. Actually, since 2022, you'd already have one entire Bitcoin, saving for, what's that, 4 years? Crazy, right? But had you have done it for longer, since like 2018, you'd have 3.5. Since 2016, you'd have 20 Bitcoin or even longer. But I'm guessing that most people watching this channel didn't do that already. Now, that being said, they say with real estate, and the same is true with Bitcoin, the best time to buy a house was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. And I'm sure the same goes for Bitcoin. So that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, like the video, join us on Twitter, check out some of our shorts, and I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
Boom. Shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.